Hi there, it's Pete the Hipster King, and we're from the Hairy Game Lords, and we've been playing Stop the Train. So we were sent a preview copy, a prototype, and really impressed. Straight out of the box I was giggling because you've got this wonderful 3D printed train track with various parts of the board that do various different bits in the game, which we'll explain in a second, and its own little train that moves around. Because in this game, unsurprisingly, you've got to stop the train. It's trying to get to Paris. There's a bomb on board, and if it gets to Paris, that will cause untold devastation. And so as a team, you're trying to slow the train down, playing cards that will put the brakes on and slow down the speed that the train is travelling at, which equates to the number of spaces it can move along that track. So at full speed it's doing 180, and that's 6 moves. At its slowest speed it's doing 30, and that's 1 move per turn. So how does it play? Well, basically this is a hidden traitor game, so one of your number is going to be the saboteur. You get given a role at the beginning, and there are plenty of roles. There's lots of replayability, and each different role has got to do 2 things. You've got to stop the train getting to Paris, and secondly, you've got a second objective. So it might be that you've got to get the speed record. It might be that you have to take a specific route, because at one point on the track splits 3 ways, and you have to choose as a group which way the train is going to go. But of course there is the saboteur, and the job of the saboteur is to make sure that train gets all the way to Paris. So he wants to go full speed ahead and get all the way into Paris. So how does it play? Well, in essence, you've got a big stack of effect cards, and that is your timer for the game, because when the effect cards run out, the train has stopped. Or if you reach Paris before the effect cards run out, the saboteur has won. So what we do, you draw 3 cards. You look at those 3 cards, and you're able to discard one of them yourself secretly, and you pass the next 2 cards on to the player on your left. They take a look, they play one, and that affects the speed of the train, and they discard the other. So very quickly you start to get a feel for who might be the saboteur, who's keeping the speed up, who's accelerating, who are the people that are braking. And you might want to watch if you start to think you've got who the saboteur is, you need to watch the person after them, because the saboteur will be feeding them cards that will hopefully speed the train up for them. So you've got to keep an eye on all the different interactions throughout the game, trying to work out who might be playing which character. The train moves around the track. I've already said when it gets to that the split, the whole game stops, and you have a vote. At that point you have to decide which of the 3 ways you're going to travel. You're going to take the long route. On the long route you've got lots of space. There's a second hill. Hills are really important because one of the objectives is to get the train going really fast. You can only do that with a hill. There are tunnels. Tunnels are really important because when you go through a tunnel you can steal a travel permit, and those travel permits mean if you've got it at the end of the game and you didn't complete the second objective, you can still win. So when you go through a tunnel, because everything goes dark, you're able to steal one of those from another player or from the board if there's one still left on the board. There's the aqueduct and the bridges. Whenever you go over an aqueduct and bridge, whoever goes first onto that space has to call an emergency meeting, and at the emergency meeting you can decide if you want to throw someone off the train. Brilliant mechanic because it allows you to get rid of the saboteur, but if the saboteur is working well and hiding well, it also allows them to get rid of somebody else who might be slowing the train down, and meaning that the saboteur's got more chance of winning. But there are other characters. There's an MI6 agent who wants to keep the saboteur on the train to arrest them at the end. So there's trying to pick the right people and work out who's who is really important in this game. What I really liked about this game is the way that sort of saboteur mechanic works in trying to work out who it is. The options at different points where you have to stop the train and have different votes, and the tunnel, hill, and all those little extra bits that add into the game. It was novel the way you were passing the cards around, and you're able to get an idea of who might be the traitor, although some of the cards, sometimes you just picked up 3 full steam ahead. There's nothing you can do, you'll just look like the traitor, so you've got to give it a few turns to work out who's who. It plays really quickly, so 20 to 30 minutes for that type of game, and I think that was the perfect length of game. My only concern, I'd be interested to see how other people, when you get to play this and have a look at this, would be around downtime, because with that card passing, it might be, I think we would potentially look at drawing the cards at the same time, not playing them all at the same time, but you can at least be thinking when it's if you're 2 turns away. But again, I think we'd only played it a couple of times. The faster you get at playing it, that will probably be less of a thing. Really enjoyed this game. Looks great. All the sort of images on the cards kind of had a 1920s feel, a bit kind of Murder on the Orient Express, that kind of, everybody dolled up on the old-fashioned trains. Looked good. Really enjoyed it. I played it at 3 and 4, and I think maybe at higher player counts it would be even better, because you'd have that kind of more interplay between the different characters as you try and throw a bit of shade at each other, trying to work out who's who is that saboteur. And there are some other additional cards that you can put in that make it a little bit more complex. So as you learn the game, you can throw in some more difficulty with different characters who are trying to act against you potentially as well. So Stop the Train. Have a look at it at Kickstarter. We really enjoyed playing it.
Bearded Lady here for the Hairy Game Lords, and yes, this game is a real nice little filler. Stop the Train. Wow. I really enjoyed this game. Now, I haven't played it sat round a table due to lockdown conditions, but I did play it over a Zoom call with the Hipster King and his family, and really enjoyed the game. It's a kind of social deduction, but it feels more than that, more than your bog standard social deduction. There is a board, if you will, a track laid out with a nice little train moving round that board. There are different things on the track that will change play and will allow the different players, whoever's the turn it is, to be able to do a variety of different things. Stuff that Pete, no doubt, has already told us about. I really like the way each player has their own win conditions. And initially, when I was faced with my win conditions, I thought, ooh, these are going to be a little bit tricky to do. But no, actually, it all works through well. And we managed to stop the train with just a few pieces of track left before it went crashing into Paris. Then you get to see who has won. Who, out of everybody playing, has met their win conditions. I happily met my win condition, and I like the way that everybody doesn't know who each other is, but you're trying to stop the train, absolutely. But for instance, my win condition as the agent, the MI6 agent, was to stop the train, but also to keep the saboteur on that train. Now, I knew through our game, just by the actions of the saboteur, who the saboteur was. But when it came to the emergency vote, when you are over a bridge, when you're traveling over a bridge and you get this opportunity to vote off and throw out one of the players, it was obvious that who the saboteur was. But of course, I had to play up and come up with a reason why I wasn't going to chuck off who I and the rest of the group believe the saboteur was. I had to come up with another suggestion of who the saboteur was, and also what paid off was a special ability that I had chosen before the game began. In fact, before I even knew who my character was, I chose the ability to be a first-class passenger, which meant that in that all-important vote, I got 2 votes, which is basically what helped me win the game. Good times. There were some other people that won the game and some that didn't, and I really like the whole kind of like game and how it felt. Now, I would say that this game should take about 20 to 30 minutes to play. I think if you're getting onto an hour for the game, then maybe it may feel like it is outstaying its welcome. But this is a really tidy, nice little filler game, a social deduction, but so much more, and one that I would look forward to playing again. A good little addition to a game night, and one certainly to get involved with as it comes out on Kickstarter.